Okay, good day everyone. For this session will be on the psychological theories of crime causation. The psychological theories of crime causation is the continuation of the previous videos that we had on the general theories of criminal occurrences and criminology, followed by the biological theories. And now let's discuss these psychological theories. These psychological theories actually are sharing their thoughts with the biological theory of crime causation for the search of the causes of criminalities, processes, or anomalies. It only attempts to look deep into the mind of the people as the predisposing cause of criminal occurrences. The criminal and delinquent offenders should be treated not as evil but as sick individuals for their actions in any rational or controllable sense. That the punishment of offenders will be ineffective and will only provoke more guilt and unhealthy psychological reactions are the claim of this psychological theory. That when you try to look at this in short, they are trying to tell us that the positivist is true in telling that scientific reasons in identifying or solving crimes are very effective, since we are able to look into the mind of these people and address these scientific reasons on why are they doing crimes as such. Now, these criminals or these kinds of group of theories assumes that criminals or delinquency are a result of internal and understanding disturbances. Second, these disturbances develop in their childhood and tend to become permanent features of individual character. And likewise, since the individual has problems, they will be they must focus, or let us just focus our attention on the problems just to be solved. That this group of psychological theories is trying to tell us individuals that for us to address this delinquency and then occurrences of crimes, we must able to concentrate that we must able to understand that these kinds of misbehaviors, thinking, started during the time they were born or they were a child, and these behaviors that they have developed during their childhood will become their individual characteristics, and these individual characteristics unknown to us might be good or might be bad, and that since these individuals has their own characteristics during their childhood, the tendency is that they will be adopting this as they grow old in their life, and that during their growth in life they would be adopting some bad or adopting some good behaviors, that if it is bad they will be treating the members of the community in a different manner wherein it violates the norms. Now, if it is good, well, and will you pray as that it could be helpful to the society. Okay, so this group of theories first includes the Sigmund Freud's theory. So what is this theory of Sigmund Freud? Remember that Sigmund Freud focused on the anomalies or anomalies and disturbances of individuals' development from early childhood. That according to this theory, crime is an expression of one's inner tension that one person has but fails to control it. Why? Remember that Sigmund Freud believed that people could be cured by making conscious of their unconscious thoughts and motivations, and for them to be able to gain insights. Okay, so the aim of this psychoanalysis of Sigmund Freud, or the psychoanalysis therapy, is to release what you call as the oppressed or restrained emotions and experiences of these people. Because if one people has an ego or has its repressed emotions and experiences, this will become a reason that their thinking, that their behavior will become unconscious, and this unconscious behavior would lead to delinquency or would lead to crimes, whereas they will be hurting the people within and surrounding their community. So Sigmund Freud claimed that if we try to address these oppressed, repressed, or restrained emotions, the tendency is that we would be able to solve the problem of this person, and that the person will not be doing crimes only if we have understood, or we have tried to understand the behavior or the emotions and experiences of this person. Well, another one is the psychoanalysis is commonly used to treat depression and anxiety disorders. And these are the things that we need to address, we need to cure, we need to help them when it comes to their anxieties. By this, criminality will not be occurring. Is the inner tension being mentioned here are different from the outer self, because when you speak of inner self, this is about what we cannot see. Example of these feelings, feeling love, intuitions, the values, the beliefs. What else? Personality, thoughts, emotions, and fantasies. It includes here also the spirituality, desire, and purpose. Now, a strong inner self means that you can cope with the person can cope well with his emotions. Say for example, I as a person not being able to control emotions such as anger, jealousy, or any other kinds, meaning to say that our inner control or inner tension, if this is not being controlled properly, we try to bring out this anger, we try to bring out this jealousy into a different manner, wherein they might hurt the community, and in the community it will not be accepted already for them. Now, sociologically speaking, those norms that are not acceptable to the community are, of course, we consider it as crime, sociologically speaking. Therefore, now, these are the things that we need to address according to Sigmund Freud, to bring this inner tension into a place where the person can resolve this. By this manner, the person will be prevented from doing crimes, from doing wrong from other people. Now, one of the popular contribution of our Sir Sigmund Freud is that he maintains that criminality is a result, therefore, of an overactive conscience. So, crime will be the result of these compulsive desires or compulsive needs because of the overactive conscience or improper way of controlling the inner tension. By this, they will be able to obtain now gratification. However, this becomes a psychological conflict to their parts. Now, what are these three major individual psych structures introduced to us by Sir Sigmund Freud? These are the id, ego, and then superego. So we mentioned that our teacher before mentioned that this id is the pleasure principle of the human psyche. It is the selfish one. It is the primitive one that we are always talking. The childish one, the child or the pleasure principle oriented of personality, having no ability to delay gratification. If we try to identify that, we can compare that as a childlike. Okay? Well, you try to see a child, they always do what they wanted to do. Okay? Another one is our superego. Our superego will act just like a parent. Now, the parent will be the one to internalize societal and parental standards. They will be the one to assess whether this is good or this is bad. Would it be right or the wrong behavior? The third psyche of our individual cognitives is the ego. It is the moderator between the superego or our conscience. Okay? It seeks to compromise or to pacify both, and it can be viewed as our sense of self, or this act just like as an adult. You can see here, so therefore, that we have the id, ego, and then super ego. The id always tells what you want. It is the pleasure principle. Okay, it becomes selfish. Okay, it becomes a child, or it acts like a child. The other one is our super ego, or the one that tells whether or not this is good, this is bad. And then the other one is just like a parent. And then the last one is our ego. It is the adult part of our thinking, wherein this could either moderate our id or moderate our super ego, or both of them. Let us try to take an example here for better understanding. Let's say, for example, one person, or okay, I need to do something. So my id would say, I want to do this now. However, my ego my super ego would say, you can't have it right now. You can't have these all things right now. So my super ego will be the one, I need to do a planning to be able to get this thing. Let's say, for example, I want $1 million or 1 million pesos for this day. Okay? But my super ego would say, it's impossible to have this kind of money. It's very, very impossible. So my super ego would say, you need to do a little bit of planning so that you will be able to get 1 million pesos. And remember again that our id is the innate pleasure. Okay, it is the aggression part of our thinking. Yan. It tells us what is our desires. It tells us what is our impulses. It will tell us, for example, the sexual wants of a person. Now, it is your super ego who will say, is that moral? Is that ethical? Is that a value? Is that good? Okay, which act as just like as a parent. And then your ego will be saying, okay, I will do this, I will do that because this is good or this is bad. Okay, it will act just like immature adaptive behavior. Let us take, for example, the Lady Justice as an example. You can see here in the illustration, you have there the id and then the ego. Okay, the person, or the ego is the one that balance between your conscience and between your pleasure principle, is when the scale is out of balance and the id and super ego has conflict, the ego must try to mediate between the two and find some sort of commonalities between them. Okay, that being said, last final example for males are usually, okay, so on the illustrations being shown here, okay, the ego is your the id says, oh, that's a female, as a female version of the superstar, like this and like that. However, your super ego would say, I have girlfriend, I have partner. So it will be you who will balance whether or not you do the letter A or you do the letter B. So you remember here also the word maladjustment. The maladjustment is a condition experienced by a person when he is not well adjusted on its own circumstance and environment. So if there is conflict between your id and then ego, tendency is that there will be maladjustment. If person was not able to adjust now with regards to the demand of his id and then ego, okay, maladjustment will come in. Okay? Now, another word here is being psychopath. Psychopath is a person without conscience, or his super ego is not functioning very well. This leads to creation of crime, or the rise of crime occurrences now if a person has not adjusted with the demands of his id and then ego, or because of the id or the pleasure principle was stronger than his super ego. Much more if the person has no conscience, okay, being a psychopathic person. Okay, the next theory is the low IQ theory. Our low IQ theory was developed by Wilson, or Sir Wilson, and then Bernstein. So they believe in their theory that the higher the IQ of the person, the lower the probability that this person okay, that the adolescent will commit delinquent acts. Remember that this IQ theory is based only on the presumption of these two persons, that when a person has higher educational experiences, or the higher the level of understanding the person has, he is now able to understand what is the difference between right and then wrong. So therefore, if he is able to identify what is right from wrong, he will be creating correct decisions which are not acceptable to the community, and so therefore he will be following what is the norms or accepted behavior in the community. If the person or I will be having a low IQ type of person, that I was not able to know what are wrong, what is bad, then because of the low understanding that I have, okay, I will be able to do things that I thought, okay, it would be correct. However, it is different from the community. Now, there was a study before in United States, according to the book of Jacobi and then Smaliger, wherein on the early decades of 20th century, they administered IQ test in to delinquent male children in part of America, wherein the results indicated that 40% had below average of intelligence. One book has illustrated this low IQ theory. One researcher in America was able to find out that United States prison and jails are highly populated with the inmates who are only 8th graders in education. And at the same time, the same inmates at the time of their offense were unemployed. So this is one of the book of Hershey and then Handel lang, wherein they tried to look at the prisoners there in a place in United States. They were able, or persons they claim it to be low IQ people are unemployed and usually are in prison, supporting their claim that the lower your IQ, the higher the probability of becoming a criminal, and the higher your IQ understanding, the lower the probability of becoming a criminal. That will be for IQ theory. Now, the IQ theory has also subdivided our IQ levels, that they claim that the persons having an IQ of below 20 are idiot. 20 to 49, 21 to 49, this will be imbecile, and then 50 to 69 are morons, and then borderline are from 70 to 80. So, you can see here the different people, and it supports our discussion on the first part of juvenile, wherein because of your mental deficiency, mental retardation, understanding are lower, your ability to identify right and good or discretion will be affected. Okay, so remember the claim of the IQ theories, wherein people with low intelligence are unable to realize that committing offenses in a certain way often leads to getting caught and eventually by punishment. And then people with low intelligence are easily led into law-breaking activities. Okay, the next theory here is the attention deficient hyperactivity theory. This attention deficient and hyperactivity theory claims that immaturity and hyperactivity is the reason why is it that people or juveniles commits delinquencies. So this attention deficient hyperactivity theory, or this attention deficient and hyperactivity, is characterized by the difficulty in paying attention, that the behavior and cognitive process of selectively concentrating on the discrete aspects of information, whether considered as subjective or objective. And sometimes this person or individuals ignore the perceivable information, meaning to say that they are not able to understand properly what is wrong on their behaviors or the cognitive processes or their way of thinking. And then excessive activity is the excessiveness of activity, or being hyperactive on the other hand, and acting without regards to consequences, that this person suffering from this kind of a disorder will be doing things without regard as to whether or not these actions they are doing is will be having a consequence of bad or will be offensive to other people or otherwise not appropriate for the person's age. Some individual with this ADHD is also having the difficulty of regulating their emotions. So if one individual is in connection with the aggression frustration theory, if one emotion is uncontrolled by this person having this ADHD, tendency is that it will lead to commission or hurting another people, or worst is that he will be doing crimes, which is already wrong, which is already punishable by the laws. Okay? Another thing is that children's having this kind of attention deficient hyperactivity has problems in paying attention because they are easily bored when it comes to things, or others are not interested in these kinds of activities. So they will be having poor school performances. What else are is in most cases that they have the short attention span. So having a short attention span, if they will not be already listening to us or to you, they will be hurting or they will be doing things that are already again offensive. They are person who is suffering from daydreaming. They become sluggish or they become inactive. They become slow. Sometimes they become stagnant, laid back, lifeless, or yeah, there's a thing wherein they become responsive now. Okay. Preoccupation, on the other hand, having a great force, being preoccupant, they become violent. Okay. Another theory is the frustration-aggression theory. The frustration-aggression theory are trying to talk with people or trying to deal with people suffering from frustrations, and a person being frustrated will act aggressively. And people who engage in aggression are first they become frustrated. And so, frustration-aggression theory or hypothesis is that, this theory is otherwise known, by the way, as the frustration-aggression displacement theory. So that if a person becomes frustrated because maybe his needs, wants, goals, wants will become blocked, tendency is that they become aggressive, or becoming aggressive. There will be some part of a person who is aggressive that they tend to hurt people or hurt anyone, and so therefore because of these frustrations they feel, they become aggressive. And as one of the defense mechanism of this individual who are frustrated and have been aggressive is that to displace. Now, as part of the defense mechanism of the individual, they will be putting this aggression or frustration into other things. Worst is that if they will be displacing or they will be transferring this aggression to a people or to a human, which is already dangerous. By the way, this was proposed by John Dollard, Neil Miller, and then Leonard Dube, and then Orval Mowat. Okay. So, this theory says that aggression is the result of blocking. Okay? And so, there is frustration. A person of efforts to attain their goals or objectives. When first formulated, the hypothesis stated that frustration is always coming first before, or always precedes aggression, and aggression is the sure consequence of frustration. The two, however, suggest that while frustration creates the need to respond, some form of aggression is one possible outcome. So, just like what I am mentioning a while ago, that this aggression will become already offensive to other people. That therefore, this theory stated that while frustration prompts behavior that may or may not be aggressive, any aggressive behavior results to frustration, making frustration not sufficient but unnecessary condition for aggression. So it is the same. Example, if a man is disrespected or you will be disrespected and humiliated in your workplaces but cannot respond to this fear of losing your job, or if you try to talk to your bosses, you will be losing your job. He may go home and take his anger and frustration to out to his family. Worst is to the children, or much worse if to the whole of the family members. Now, this theory is also used to explain riots and revolutions that which both are believed to cause by poor people and more deprived sections of the society who may express their bottled up frustrations and anger and then on violence. Say for example, on the quarantine being implemented today, because of the frustrations of individuals who wanted to go out, or the goal that they wanted to do their work already, okay, because they are suffering from or their children are already suffering from the loss of the food. They are already on a place where they cannot eat something. Okay, frustrations will occur, and so therefore they might steal, they might do bad things to their neighbors, or worse is to the government. Gentlemen, ladies, these are the psychological theories that we have discussed. First is, remember that the psychological theories tries to blame the the mind or the thinking of the people that affects delinquency or the occurrence of delinquency, that they think that there are behaviors being adopted during the early childhood and that they will bring this when they grow old and become or may not become a criminal. First theory that we have discussed is the Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theory, that we try to look into the inner tension of this individual to cure this, and being able to cure this will be tantamount to removing the bad things, or the creating the thinking of people, or the id, ego, and super ego to be functioning very well. Once that the frustrations, or once that the tensions to the person is, or from the person, is removed. Second is the IQ theory. So the lower your IQ, the higher possibility of doing bad. The higher your IQ, the lower the possibility of doing bad things. And then the attention deficient hyperactivity theory. Because of the lack of attention and then being a hyperactive individual, it may or may not result to delinquencies or crimes. And then of course, because of this frustration results to aggression, and it will create crime. Okay, so the next topic that we'll be discussing here is the sociological theories. So the sociological theories will be published sooner or later. So do not forget to leave your comments, ask questions, and then give suggestions down here below the comment section. And do not forget to subscribe to be able to get the updated topics. Thank you, and then stay safe.